discussions, reviewing the evidence, and speaking freely amongst the jurors, we are still unable to reach a unanimous decision. So at this time, what I'm going to do is just declare a mistrial, the case was mistried, and indicate to you that how much we appreciate the fact that you were here.
A mistrial declared in the double murder trial of rapper YNW Melly. What happens next? Will there be a second trial? We answer all of your questions. I'm Angenette Levy. Welcome to Law and Crime's Sidebar podcast. The jury in YNW Melly's trial deliberated for 14 hours and 6 minutes before telling Judge Murphy for a second time that they could not reach a unanimous decision. The jury in YNW Melly's trial may have been deadlocked, but that doesn't mean the case is over. At this point, all signs point to the state retrying Melly, whose legal name is Jamell Demons, for the October 2018 murders of his two childhood friends and YNW members, Chris Thomas Jr. and Anthony Williams. They went by YNW Juvy and YNW SakChaser. Whether or not the state will still pursue the death penalty in a retrial is a question we can't answer at this point. There were signs early on in deliberations that the jury was at an impasse. On Friday, the 12 jurors had been deliberating for less than 8 hours when they notified Judge Murphy trouble may be ahead.
And I also have a message here from the jury, another message. And it says, what if we can't come to a decision, ? Everyone is stuck on which side they've chosen.
Judge Murphy read an Allen charge to the jury at that time, which is a charge that strongly encourages the jury to try to reach a verdict.
But I want you to go back to the jury room, then taking turns, tell each of the other jurors about any weaknesses of your own position. You should not interrupt each other or comment on each other's views until each of you have had a chance to talk. After you have done that, if you simply cannot reach a verdict, then return to the courtroom and I will declare this case mistried and will discharge you with my sincere appreciation for your services.
The jurors asked a number of questions throughout deliberations.
Ask the following question. Ray Exhibit 116-times listed, start and end, close paren, marked as UTC-4. Does UTC-4 reflect that 4 hours have been subtracted already, or does subtracting 4 hours from start and end times need to be calculated? Signed by the foreman.
You can answer yes.
They also asked to hear a readback of the testimony of Travion Glass, who was in the red Mitsubishi that left the recording studio with the Jeep Compass, carrying Melly, Juvy, Sak, and Melly's co-conspirator, Cortland Henry, who goes by YNW Bortland. Glass said leaving the studio was the last time he saw Melly until later that morning, when he found out that Juvy and Sak had been murdered.
Was that the first time you saw Melly after you guys left the studio?
Yeah.
Was Melly wearing the same clothes or different clothes than when you saw him at the studio?
It was a new bit. Nah, he wasn't.
Nah, he wasn't. You guys
wasn't wearing the same clothes.
Okay. Do you recall what he was wearing?
Just had on some shorts.
Glass was a reluctant witness when he testified for the prosecution. He said only he and 3 others were in the red Mitsubishi that morning, and Melly wasn't one of them. His testimony about what happened after they left the studio differed from defense witness Adrien Davis, who claimed Melly got into the red Mitsubishi when the SUV stopped.
Were you woken up?
Yeah, but
why?
It was like, because I was getting pushed over a little bit.
Okay. And are you 100% sure that this young man got into the red Mitsubishi?
Yes.
What happened to the Jeep?
I think they just kept going.
Early Saturday afternoon, the jury asked to see another piece of evidence, Juvy's cell phone found on the floorboard of the Jeep.
Let the record reflect the presence of the defendant, his counsel, and the assistant state attorney. The jury's in the jury room. I have a jury inquiry form that says we request to look at Christopher Thomas's phone, damaged blue phone. So, counsel, my understanding is we're going to send the phone back with gloves. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Everybody agrees to that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
A short time later, the jury announced that it was deadlocked.
We understand that. You gave us some time and you took your best effort to see if you can bring the case to a resolution. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to happen. But I want to thank you again for your time and consideration of the case. I also want to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors.
Under Florida law, prosecutors must retry Melly within 90 days. But the defense team indicated they weren't ready to move forward just yet or waive that 90-day period.
How do you want to address this now, counsel?
And you set a scheduling date. You can pick if to start within 90 days, unless you're going to start to waive that.
We're not prepared to make that decision right now.
A status conference is scheduled for Melly's case on Friday, and we will certainly have that covered for you. At that time, we could learn when his next trial will be held and whether or not the current defense team remains on the case. Cortland Henry's trial is scheduled for October, so that 90-day window could potentially put Melly's retrial very close to Cortland Henry's trial.
Hey there, everybody. If you're a whiskey lover and you want to be part of a club where you're going to receive only highly rated bottles, then definitely subscribe to Whiskey Raiders' all-new Bottle of the Month Club. Each month, the Whiskey Raiders team is going to handpick bottles of whiskey that are hard to find in most stores and then mail them right to your door. And at the end of the month, you'll be able to take part in a virtual tasting where industry experts are going to provide insights and commentary on the bottle. Check out Whiskey Raiders, RAIDERS.com for more information. Limited slots are currently available. And of course, you got to be 21 or older to receive the bottles.
That's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. You can listen to and download Sidebar on Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And of course, you can always watch it on Law and Crime's YouTube channel. I'm Angenette Levy, and we will see you next time.